Jenkins pipelines. Let's begin with a brief overview. As a team's software development process matures, it can become difficult to model the build and release process using only freestyle jobs in Jenkins. In order to mitigate the complexity of managing multiple freestyle jobs, the Jenkins pipeline plugins allow you to model those complex build and release processes as Groovy code in what's called a Jenkins file. So what are some of the benefits of using a Jenkins pipeline? If we check in the Jenkins pipeline code contained within the Jenkins file into version control, then we immediately get the benefit of traceability and control over changes made to the pipeline. The other benefit of version controlling the Jenkins file is that the pipeline exists independent of a Jenkins server, which means if for some reason the Jenkins server was accidentally destroyed, the pipelines would not be destroyed since they're managed in a source code management server. The other benefit of Jenkins pipelines is that they are highly extensible through the use of shared libraries and plugins. In addition, pipelines support logical operators such as conditionals, loops, and parallel execution. Let's also quickly discuss some key pipeline terminology. The first is the concept of a pipeline. A pipeline is a user-defined model of a build, test, and release process for a software product. The second term you should be familiar with is node. A Jenkins node is a machine that the Jenkins controller can execute pipeline jobs on. The next concept that you should be familiar with is a stage. A Jenkins pipeline stage is a logical grouping of steps that typically align with the build, test, and release portions of the software development lifecycle. So for instance, you might have a build stage, a test stage, and a deploy stage. You should also be familiar with the concept of steps. Steps are individual tasks completed within a stage of a pipeline. For instance, a single step could invoke a Jenkins node's shell and execute a command like ls or make directory on it. It's also worth mentioning the two types of Jenkins pipelines. There are declarative and scripted pipelines. Declarative pipelines are a newer feature of Jenkins pipeline, and declarative pipelines have richer syntactical features than scripted pipelines, which makes them easier to read and write.